Hello, welcome to a new episode of Mostly Engineering and a little love letter to analog technology. So, welcome to this episode, and I always had a thing for analog technologies, and if you ask me, it's much more satisfying to operate a physical switch or button than operating a touchscreen. Even so, a touchscreen is, in a lot of cases, a lot more useful. And another reason why I probably love analog technology is that when I was a kid, I always got the broken technology from my parents and other people in the neighborhood, and I loved nothing more than taking a screwdriver, opening it up, and take a look inside. Because this is old technology, the electronics were simple, you had mechanical solutions, so by looking inside, you could get a rough idea how these things work. And some cases, we were even able to repair it and bring it back to life. And boy, is it a satisfying feeling. Nowadays, with the digital technology, if you see a smartphone, for example, if you open it up and take a look inside, there's nothing you can see how these things work. And this is if you can open it up in the first place, what most manufacturers trying you to prevent you from doing. That's why I love analog technology. But if you love this all things, unfortunately, they get broken, and that happened with my analog radio clock. So what we're going to do today is take a look inside, see how it works, and if we can fix it. So, and here we have my beautiful Siemens radio clock with this nice 70s orange, but unfortunately the clock part is broken. So I suspect we have to replace the motor, and this is also the interesting part in how these things keep time. So let's open it up and take a closer look. So, and here we have the radio opened. The Vago clamps tell me I've been in here before, and all we have to do is remove two screws, replace the motor, and that hopefully does the trick. So, and this is our replacement motor, and this is not your box standard electric DC motor. This is what we call a synchronous motor, and they run on alternating current. And the frequency of our power grid is how this thing can keep time incredibly precise. So how does it work? Inside we have our starter, and this is comprised out of some coils, and when the electricity is flowing through it, we get the induction of a magnetic field, and depending on the direction our electricity is going through it, we get a magnetic north pole or a magnetic south pole. And the coils are arranged, wired in a way that we get north and south pole alternating, and the rotor just gets dragged along by our magnetic field. And as we are using alternating current, the direction of our electricity reverses 50 times a second here in Europe. So what was a magnetic north pole becomes a magnetic south pole, and vice versa. And now the starter and rotor are built with a slight imbalance, so that the rotor doesn't go back and forth, but we get a continuous motion every time our direction reverses, and so step by step our rotor gets dragged along. And this way we can tell exactly how many rotations our rotor does every single second. And with this knowledge, we can comprise the gearing over here in order to turn our minute wheel once every hour. And this is an incredibly precise way, especially if you think about the fact that quartz clocks weren't a thing at the time. But unfortunately, the mechanical part of our clock is not that precise. So, for example, we can't tell exactly when a minute card flips. So some minutes have only 55 seconds, other minutes have 65 seconds, some minutes maybe dead on the 60 seconds. But for your day-to-day timekeeping purpose, this is more than enough of precision. So I removed the cover from the old motor, and here we can see the problem, or hopefully you can see this little crack in the plastic gear, and therefore it doesn't put enough pressure on the shaft anymore, so that when we turn it under load, the shaft turns, but the gear itself doesn't transfer this movement anymore. So, and let's see if the clock flips. And it does, very nice. And let's test radio. That works as well. And on this positive note, it's time to end the show. So if you have questions, comments, please let them down below, and I try to answer them as quickly and correctly as possible. And all that's left to say now is thanks for watching, and see you at the next time. Bye bye.